This is the Jerusalem Post podcast travel edition. Coming up.
A porter is a stout beer that was popular in London in the early 1700s with the porters.
Talking of pigeons, are you ready for dinner?
I did see the weight limit, which means you're going to go on the most dangerous ones.
So sit back and enjoy the trip with Mark Gordon and David Harris. Good morning.
Good morning.
You jet lagged?
Not really, because it's about 4 days since we got here.
How are you with theme parks? How are you with tall, slidey things that go round and round and upside down?
I'm not quite as good as I used to be, but I do like a theme park.
Oh, here's a story. A girlfriend of mine from way back when, I think you actually, in fact, you dated the same person. We went on the oldest roller coaster in Blackpool in England, made from wood. It used to make lots of noise. I was petrified. You know, I don't like heights and all those types of things. We were holding hands. It was like literally a white knuckle ride for me. My knuckles going whiter and whiter, and my hands tighter and tighter, gripping her, and you can see her eyes bulging, although maybe that's how she looked.
That's what attracted her to me.
And we get to the end of the ride, and she sort of like prizes her hand out of mine and reaches into her pocket of her coat to put her glasses back on after the ride, and I had been gripping so hard with my knuckles that I'd forced one of the lenses out of the frame.
I'm trying to find something that's not too insulting to our shared common ex-girlfriend.
I'm not overly into them. I get very, very scared.
I do like them. I don't have a fear of heights per se. It's just falling from them. So if I feel secure, it's not a problem. When we've gone up tall buildings inside a building, I'm kind of okay with that, as long as I feel the building isn't going to sway in the wind. You were on the top of, what was the building called? The View, was it, in Dubai? The View at the Palms in Dubai.
And that one's all open to the elements.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad, but then, you know, you had enough glass around. And both of us went up the Ping Am Financial Centre in Shenzhen, which is over 100 floors. And again, you were walking on glass, but you were inside.
I don't know, I just don't like it. Anyway, the reason we've gone off on a tangent, you can't actually go off on a tangent before you've started with the main theme, can you?
And you've just gone off on a tangent.
Sine, cosine and tangent.
And another tangent.
Tangentially. We are in the home of theme parks, of fast rides, of roller coasters. We're in Orlando.
I thought you were about to say Abu Dhabi.
Oh, yeah. But we're not going into any of those big amusement parks.
No, we are here for a few hours before catching a flight. We'll have enough time to visit maybe one attraction, go and get some dinner, and then we're back off to Israel after an amazing cruise with Royal Caribbean on Star of the Seas. So we're going to try and give you a little taster of Orlando.
One thing I noticed, it's my first visit to Orlando. I'd been to Epcot and I'd been to Tampa, but I hadn't seen the East Coast. So flying in to Orlando at nighttime was fascinating. First of all, I didn't see any high-rise apartment blocks. It all looked like it was single or double homes, and it covers a massive area, which for you and me, we're not hiring a car, poses a challenge.
Yeah, Orlando seems very flat. This is also my first time in Florida, so I'm not familiar with the terrain itself, but compared to a lot of the places we've been to recently, Orlando is almost like the Netherlands of America. Hiring a car, probably advisable. I'm not sure the public transport is significantly worth playing with in Orlando, but there are lots of rideshare services like Uber and Lyft, and I think that will be how we get ourselves around Orlando today.
Let's do a few tips, which you don't normally do early on.
Especially having not been there.
But when we arrived, we were put up in a hotel overnight, and we were given Uber vouchers. I think it's worth talking about that experience.
Yeah, Royal Caribbean thankfully organised everything for us, and because people were coming from all over the world, rather than having a bus here and a bus there, they gave everybody Uber vouchers, and they gave people Uber vouchers for dinner. Living in America, you're probably very familiar with this. If you live in Israel, Uber doesn't really exist. An Uber voucher was a way of attaching money to a booked ride like you would get on an app like Get, and essentially meant that the ride was paid for. But you can order an Uber like you would get taxi, or a Lyft, I think, is another rideshare app that people use here. makes life very, very easy. And people seem very friendly in their cars here.
But in addition, you order food that way.
Yes, there is a second app called Uber Eats. And the same way, again, you can put a voucher into your wallet and then order from just about every local store. And one of those little men that would drive you to and from the airport will also go and pick up your food, although those people have much smaller cars.
And the nice thing about the app is it shows you what's the nearest restaurants to you, what time they're open till, and you can pre-tip. It's all built in. But just one thing to be aware of, if you're into the environment, obviously there's going to be a lot of plastic packaging. And my advice is always don't order pizza, because when you order pizza, it comes in a closed box, and all that beautiful hot pizza, the moisture from it rises to the underside of the lid and then drops back down, and you get soggy pizza. But maybe in America that's what you like.
I think it's a general thing with the takeaway food. I had an egg white omelette. When it arrived, it was liquid and like sweat. Wasn't pleasant, but there are some wonderful ways to use Uber Eats, and not just for dinner. You can get your shopping there. So if you need pharmaceuticals or anything like that, Uber Eats is great. We haven't been sponsored by Uber Eats, but it was just something new for us.
Yeah, it was very useful, and something else to know, because I know certainly growing up in Europe that bringing your own food into a hotel room was always frowned upon, and if you were going to do it, you kind of smuggled it in and made sure that reception wouldn't see it. But these days, it's welcome. They know it's going to happen, and lots of people were standing outside the Orlando Hilton waiting for their vehicle to show up.
Talking of going off at a tangent, should I do a question?
You should do a quiz question.
We were once going on a cruise where Katy Perry was going to be the godmother. David loves me mentioning this.
This story is almost up there with your spoon story.
Yes, sorry, David. Have you ever been to Romania, David?
Sibiu.
Bless you. Katy Perry was the godmother of a ship for another company. She recently split with her partner. Does anybody know his name? I'm sure he does and she does, but what is his name?
Have you listened to the Jerusalem Post podcast Travel Edition? I'm David Harris, and together with my co-host Mark Gordon, we bring you the best from the world of travel and tourism.
We have people who literally fly to Park City just to do the ski minion.
And it has that heavenly taste that you don't really find nowadays in the market.
When was the last time you went to a restaurant and they bought you a picnic basket, about 8 courses in?
The Dracula tour, that's a very unusual honeymoon option, really.
The Jerusalem Post podcast Travel Edition brings you the joys of travel and tourism. So why not subscribe today wherever you get your podcasts?
Cheers, Mark.
Cheers, David.
Before the break, we talked about roller coasters and those big amusement parks that you might expect to see in the Orlando area, obviously from Disney, from Universal and so on. But you don't have to fork out big bucks in order to have a really fun and educational time.
No, just get a media pass and it's free.
Mark, come on. Got to live like other people do and don't give away our trade secrets.
Okay, if you've only got a few hours to spend in Orlando, which we have, you need to find something that will take up 2-3 hours and be lots and lots of fun. So we have come to an attraction called WonderWorks, and it's not just fun, it's learning as well.
We have only just walked in. Lots of people, mixed ages, a lot of kids, but also adults on their own, having a really good time. We walked through a tunnel to get into the main area, and it's a rotating tunnel that makes you feel at least somewhat giddy.
That, combined with some cider that we had before we came, has really not helped. But yeah, no, that was really exciting. Can I tell you a joke?
You can tell me a joke.
Why can you never trust atoms?
I don't know. Why can you never trust atoms?
Because they make up everything.
That's quite clever.
Hashtag science pun.
That is the type of thing that you're going to see around here. If you will, this is a science museum that kids would never ever think of as being a science museum. Behind Mark's head, there is something called the Hurricane Shack, where you get to feel what a hurricane's like. There's a cafe to our left, which is earthquakes.
There's a lab which seems to provide electric shocks. And there's something to do with Google Earth over there. There are dozens of exhibits to play with, to interact with, and we're going to see how many we can fit into a few hours.
Are you going to break any of them like you did in the museum in Azerbaijan?
I did see the weight limit, which means you're going to go on the most dangerous ones.
More on that later.
This is Mark Gordon from the Jerusalem Post podcast Travel Edition. Find us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at MarkDavidPod, or mail us at markdavidpod@gmail.com.
We are about to find out what... Oh, here, you can listen.
Simpson hurricane scale. A Category 1 hurricane contains winds of 74 to 95 miles per hour, strong enough to knock over a tractor trailer. A Category 5 hurricane contains wind speeds of 155 miles per hour and greater. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina swept across Louisiana, Mississippi, and Florida. This was a Category 3 hurricane, resulting in 2,500 deaths and approximately $89.6 billion in damages. The winds in this simulator only reach up to 74 miles per hour. Imagine being caught in winds greater than the ones you are about to experience. Get ready.
Oh my God!
You all right, Mark?
Yes! I might hold on to you in a minute.
It's absolutely crazy. Imagine what it would be like if you were actually somewhere out in the prairies and this happened.
We have got two massive fans on either side of us, blowing us. And although our feet are firmly on the ground, I can feel my head pushing in that direction.
Wow.
Oh, gosh.
One of the things that WonderWorks tries to do is to get all people, but I guess especially children, to move their bodies, because all too often these days we've become sedentary, whether we're in office jobs, classrooms, playing on our phones. And so Mark and I are about to energy in motion. Let's dance.
See, if you look over there on the screen on the left, see, I'm already a little bit out of breath from dancing. It takes our centripetal force and turns it into kinetic energy.
Are you just making this up as you go along?
No, I read it on the board. There are two figures on the screen, and as we move away, they separate and come together. But also the level of movement changes how much the pattern changes on the screen.
Let's dance! Oh, I just see a shadow. How's it working? I don't see how it works. I don't know.
That's our centripetal force.
Indeed it is. So there's yellow blobs or silver blobs.
And now they're in like little triangle things and lines. It's very clever.
And we're moving.
Yes, which we haven't done much for 3 days on a cruise.
I think I've got an old hernia injury coming back on.
Let's move on then. I don't know if you remember the film Big with Tom Hanks when he goes into FAO Schwartz and starts playing on the piano. But here at WonderWorks, you could reenact that with a tune. Let's listen.
Okay, there we go.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What do you think about what you've seen so far?
I like it. Fine, even for adults. We don't even have any kids with us.
In your own life, do you move around? Do you do lots of exercise?
No, not really.
You get the idea that this place is trying to encourage.
Hot, right? Yeah, it does. Definitely a little exercise and moving around.
What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Kaylin, and I'm from Fort Myers, Florida.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.
A lot of the focus here at WonderWorks is fitness. And what we're all doing now, there's four of us, and we're all standing on a little pad, each one's a different colour, and we've got to run as fast as we can, and there are fluorescent lights in front of us, and one of the others has already won. Oh, what's your name?
Vivian.
Yeah, how did you just manage to get all the way to the top so quickly?
I ran in place.
Natural talent. Are you a runner at home and everything?
No.
Do you do exercise?
Yeah.
Exercise is really important. I'm going to have another go. Can I do this with you? Yeah. Thank you. Oh, it's already started. Running like crazy, the lights are going up and up and up, but I think I'm going to be beaten by yet another young person who is far fitter than I am. Too old. Well, that was nice.
That was a lot of fun.
It's amazing how much you can get into a relatively small space. Maybe we should talk about the outside, the entrance to WonderWorks.
It looks like an upside-down mansion. Probably a little bit worse for wear, having been turned upside down.
With cracks.
With cracks, and you go in through the roof.
Flickering lighting. You walk in, and interestingly, we were looking for the basement in the elevator, and we were getting very confused because the basement is the top floor.
And not in the elevator, and not underneath the ground floor. Except for us, the ground floor is the first floor. Because in America, I think, when you go into a building, the bottom floor is the first floor.
As opposed to in Europe where it's 0. Yes, correct.
So really confusing trying to find the basement. But the basement was really fun. There's laser tag in there. There is a 60 cinema experience with dinosaurs. There is a neon rope climbing experience that goes over the top of the floor.
Just beware if you do go to the basement, top floor, bottom floor, whatever it is, that there are also lots of arcade games that you can pay for. Another tip if you're coming here, try not to bring a bag or bring a small bag. There is a locker facility in the basement for those of you who want to do laser tag and so on, but they're fairly small. So the backpack that I had didn't fit. I was told that I could leave it at reception if I wanted to for a small cost.
And if you're playing laser tag, you have to put on a sort of shield that people aim at, and therefore you won't be able to wear your backpack and the shield at the same time.
There is a nice little cafe serving pizza. They've got burgers, a bit of salad.
Is that on the ground floor or in the basement? It's on the ground floor, but there's also snacks in the basement on the top floor.
And your usual souvenirs, etc. It's a lovely place to come for a couple of hours. As Mark was saying earlier, if you're just stopping off in the airport perhaps, or you're en route to the big parks, or if you're en route to a cruise like the Royal Caribbean one that we just departed, then this is a nice stop-off point for a break for a couple of hours.
Orlando is a place for families and big kids. And David and I are very big kids. We've had a really good time here.
You can check some of it out on our YouTube and social media at Mark David Pod.
If you need more details, it's at wonderworksonline.com. And there are other WonderWorks locations, not just in Orlando, but Panama City Beach, Florida, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, Syracuse, New York State, Branson, Missouri, and Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Talking of pigeons, are you ready for dinner?
Not quite. Not if it's pigeons.
Let's go and see what we can find. Orlando Fact File. The main airport is Orlando International. There are no direct flights from Israel, but connections can be made with Air France and United. The nearest direct flights from Israel land in Miami and Fort Lauderdale. American, Breeze, Delta, Frontier, JetBlue, Spirit, Southwest and United also fly to Orlando from all over the US. Air Canada, Virgin and British Airways also fly direct to Orlando. You can head downtown from the airport by local bus for around $2. A shuttle van is $20 to $32 and a taxi around $38 to $45. Rideshare services such as Uber and Lyft are available from the airport to downtown Orlando. It's a little more expensive to the Lake Buena Vista area. Of course, there are dozens of places to stay near the theme parks, but recommended hotels in downtown Orlando include the Crowne Plaza, Grand Bohemian, and the Delaney. At Lake Buena Vista, try Signia by Hilton, the Conrad, and the Waldorf Astoria. Orlando has a humid, subtropical climate characterized by hot, humid summers and mild, relatively dry winters. Local food specials include grouper sandwiches, mahi-mahi, mofongo, which is mashed plantains with garlic and pork cracklings, and for something different, fried alligator bites. If kosher is more your thing, there's Kosher Grill and Crembo, and of course, there's the ubiquitous Shabbat meal with Chabad of South Orlando.
No trip to Orlando would be complete without two words: Disney and shopping.
What about Walt?
Or Disney World, or
Buena Vista?
or 8% sales tax,
Star Wars,
football,
Marvel,
music,
Blues Store, where you can buy merch and tickets for a dinner with music.
Coca-Cola,
Oh, Tommy Havana, what was it called?
Tommy Bahama,
Well, I wasn't far off, but we were in the Bahamas. Amazing.
M&M's.
AMC movie theatre.
Okay, enough of that. We have come to Disney Springs. We've come to do some shopping, and then we're going to grab some food before we head to the airport.
This place is awash with humankind. There's a woman in a green top with, is that Minnie or Mickey?
Mickey.
It really stands out, doesn't it, that green top?
Green, did you say, David?
Yeah, Mark and I have got a thing that dates back about 2-3 summers ago where this really bright middle green was all a rage. And even though it's dying out around the world, we still play a game where one of us has to spot it and shout at the top of our lungs, "Green!" Hi, this is David Harris from the Jerusalem Post podcast Travel Edition. Find us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at MarkDavidPod, or mail us at markdavidpod@gmail.com.
Good evening, gentlemen. Here is your elderberry and your sweet baby Java.
Well, there you go.
Sweet baby Java. I remember it was called beer.
Shall we try the drinks before we explain where we are?
Certainly. Cheers, David.
Cheers. Nobody's going to hear the clinking above all the noise, but clink away.
Oh, that is lovely.
Really, really?
Yeah.
What is it?
So, Sweet Baby Java, it's called a porter. A porter is a type of stout beer.
What's stout?
So stout, I'll give you an example of a famous stout, Guinness.
Okay.
Stout beer comes from the old medieval description, meaning strong. Like
Okay.
strong beer. Maybe medieval, maybe a bit later.
You used to talk about a cudgel, like a stick,
Yeah.
as being a stout cudgel.
Yeah.
And that would be a good one for knocking someone out.
So with beer, a stout beer was a strong beer. And
Okay.
like stouts tend to be darker because of their stronger taste. A porter is a stout beer that was popular in London in the early 1700s,
Right.
with the porters at stations and places like that.
So it's called a porter stout beer.
Something like that, yeah.
And the name was,
Sweet Baby Java.
which is just the name that the manufacturer gave to the
It's
producer.
called Sweet Baby Java
Oh.
because,
You've been reading up.
yes, Java, coffee.
Right.
It has espresso coffee in the brew.
Oh, really?
And sweet because it contains peanut butter to give it a sweet
Oh,
taste
my
as well.
goodness.
So there's a mix of coffee and peanut butter with your stout beer.
Now, that is fascinating. Now, I know you've had a cold, but am I allowed to have a quick slurp?
Yeah, no, taste it.
All right. Oh, that is weird.
Yeah, it comes at you in different
Wow.
waves.
Oh, my goodness.
But it's lovely.
Yeah. So I don't actually like peanut butter, but I got the peanuts, I got the coffee straight away, and I didn't get beer. I mean, I got a bit of the alcohol, and now I've got the more bitter aftertaste.
Fantastic.
That is interesting.
So tell me about yours.
So, of course, I was busy setting up all of the recording gear, as usual, while Mr. Google was busy having a look at what his beer is. But I love cider. If people say to me, a pear cider or a raspberry cider, I will pull a face. And if people say to me, do you mean hot cider? I will pull a face, even if it's got wine in it. The only cider for me is an apple cider. The only country, although I've found a few French ciders that are nice, the only country that is good for cider is England, and the only part of England that is good for cider is the southwest. Yes, I'm a snob, but I am passionate about elderflower and elderberry. And I know it's not a manly thing to say, because men don't drink flowers, but I absolutely adore their delicate fruity flavours. And I have in front of me it's almost a wine-coloured cider, as opposed to more of the yellows that you see in an apple cider. Try it.
It's sweet, but then there's a sharpness from the elderflower. It actually tastes like cranberry.
Yes, it really does, which surprised me. And I wonder if we actually look in the description, if that will be the case, that there is something in the direction of a cranberry or another berry as well. It's not my favourite, because it's not apple, but it is extremely good.
Anyway, enough of our adaptation of the podcast into The Rest is Beer.
But that's part of it. We've done wine, we've done food, we've done destinations, we've done airlines. Why not do beers?
But why are we drinking beer? Where are we?
We are in Orlando. It's considered Orlando.
Yeah, definitely Orlando.
Okay.
On the way to Kissimmee a bit, but it's still Orlando.
I'm not kissing you anywhere. We're by Buena Vista Lake, which we've already mentioned because we talked about all the shops around here. This is not only a shopping mecca, it is also a food and drink paradise.
This area of Buena Vista Lake, and do you know why it's called Buena Vista Lake?
It's named after a street in Hollywood.
In Burbank.
Burbank.
Where the original Disney studios were. So the whole Buena Vista Company and Buena Vista Lake all goes back to the Disney studios in California.
Mr. Google.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
We had a long taxi ride today. This is an eatery, and they call it a poorhouse, not because people leave here poor or come here poor, but because they pour the beer here. So it is.
Oh, so what's the name of the place?
It's called CityWorks in Disney Springs.
CityWorks,
yes,
in Disney Springs. So Disney Springs is this sort of shopping area next to the lake, and really right near the entrance, opposite Cirque du Soleil.
Correct.
And yes, there is a Cirque du Soleil here. Is CityWorks,
and there's a House of Blues.
Oh yes, we went in there.
Yeah, there's 2 cinemas. There's a comedy house. There are entertainment venues. About 70 or 80 dining venues, a similar number of stores.
And we went into some really good stores. Now, we mentioned before, what was it called? Tommy Bahamas.
Tommy Bahamas.
Tommy Bahama. I've never been in before, and we are not here to talk about Tommy Bahamas. It's really nice.
Yeah.
A little bit pricey, but it's really, really good stuff.
I need a Hawaiian shirt for my next cruise. I've worked that one out. A Hawaiian shirt for Bahamas night. I don't know. What's the difference between a Hawaiian shirt and a Bahamas shirt?
Poor Mark. We, the other night, had a party on the Royal Caribbean ship Star of the Seas. Listen back a couple of podcasts ago for that. I dressed up to kill. I had on linen, like loose trousers, pants that my son had loaned me because he's the trendy one. And I bought myself a nice but modest Hawaiian Caribbean shirt. And I walked around with an Ecuadorian Panama hat. Mark didn't.
No, I had a Hawaiian shirt
and
a white
crumpled
t-shirt.
New Zealand shirt.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great one. And everybody else had fabulous Hawaiian shirts.
Oh, a bit of food is arriving. There's broccoli and
some salads.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Where were we? Yes. And you really killed it on 90s night. You were like full Gordon Gekko.
Isn't that an insurance company in America?
No, Gordon Gekko was in Wall Street. Michael Douglas. He was
right.
an evil boss.
Okay.
And it was like slick. You had a double-breasted suit on, and you were the only person in a suit.
I have to congratulate you because you were the one who said, David, you've got old-fashioned clothes. Why don't you put them on? And I did. And 2 very attractive ladies came up to me and said, I love your tie.
And David said, I'm married and I love my wife, Debbie. Leave me alone. Anyway,
let's get back to the restaurant. And we've not actually mentioned there is a whole food side here, but what we want to really focus on is the beers. 90 of them, you said?
90 of them, 30 of them American beers. We are going to try and work our way through the menu a bit. We've got little 6-ounce glasses. We're having like taster glasses so that we can try multiple beers. We're not going to bore you with every beer that we go through.
I'm just looking at the categories. This is both an eatery with a very nice menu, some very interesting dishes, broad selection, including numerous vegetarian dishes, which is not always the case in American restaurants. So plenty to choose from here. You've got also a big bank of TVs for the sports fans, but there is no audio from the sport. What you may or may not be able to hear in the background is just sort of rock music. It's very noisy, it's very lively. But Mark, can you just describe those 2 banks of wooden, almost like blackboards, I guess?
Yeah, there is a list of every single beer that they serve here, and I think they have them all in stock, otherwise they take them down. You could spend an hour just choosing your beer. I'll quickly go through some of the menu items. There's pale ales, there's golden ambers and browns, there's non-alcoholic beer, there's seasonal beer for the summer called Summertime Goose Island Honeybee Citrus Blonde Ale. We've got stouts and porters, wheats, ciders, fruit beers, Belgian beers, and if you don't like beer, there's cocktails.
And masses of shots.
Let's dine and enjoy this.
The chairs here are quite funky. They're tartan, and embroidered on the back are some pictures of foxes with monocles.
We've opened a fine rosé from the Pays d'Oc region of southeastern France.
To stand in front of the Birth of Venus by Botticelli and just take it in.
Turning their backs on these magnificent architectural wonders, and all they want to do is have that Instagram moment.
I listened to the guide for 2 minutes while I was on Wikipedia.
You're listening to the Jerusalem Post podcast travel edition with Mark Gordon and David Harris. Mark,
David.
you've got another one.
Yes. The first one was so good. I went from New Jersey all the way to Hawaii.
New Jersey
to Aloha. So I have something called a Hawaiian lion.
A Hawaiian lion.
Yes.
It's got a roar.
Yeah, and actually it's not from Hawaii at all. It's from Florida.
Okay.
So it's another local beer. It's another porter, but this time instead of peanut butter, toasted coconut.
I'm not a toasted coconut fan, but I know you like a good coconut.
I just like beer, to be fair. I'm gonna try it. It's not sweet this time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, more subtle, but you definitely still get the coconut on it.
Okay.
It's good.
Good. Winner.
Yeah.
So which is your favourite of the two?
I think the first one. Sweet Baby Java, that peanut butter.
Yep. I don't suppose we can take it home, can we?
See if we've got room in our cases for a couple of kegs or whatever it is.
And no doubt you can't buy this in Israel.
I would doubt it very much.
So that means, folks, that one of the best places to come to taste that and a variety of other beers is here at City Works. Talk a little bit about the menu before we do some wrap up. They offer bowls and pasta, smokehouse combo, lots of smoked things, lots of meaty stuff, plenty of fish options, and as I said earlier, quite a lot of vegetarian things as well. There are soups and salads and mains, things to share, bar bites, and yummy looking desserts, at least from the names. Peanut butter Snickers pie.
A what?
A peanut butter Snickers pie.
Oh, I thought you said sniffers.
Sniffers?
What's a peanut butter sniffer?
Maybe that's something you can invent in your kitchen. Mark, it is time to say our thank yous.
Yes. First and foremost to Royal Caribbean, and especially our contacts Lucy and Plumie for the few days we were here, for looking after us and bringing us to Orlando to see their new ship Star of the Seas, but also for a day to let us wander around Orlando.
And again, if you want to listen to our podcast about the world's newest and joint largest cruise ship, go back some episodes to approximately episode number 113, and there you will find everything you need to know about that luxury liner.
To Gabby at GMAC Communications, Visit Orlando, WonderWorks and CityWorks for hosting us today.
Should we do quiz question?
Yes. It was all related to a previous cruise that we never went on, where Katy Perry was the godmother. In 2025, Katy Perry split up with her partner. What was his name?
Disney.
It is related to this podcast, otherwise I wouldn't have said it.
Universal, Cape Canaveral. The Cape Canaveral.
His name was WonderWorks Smith. No, not really.
It was?
Orlando Bloom.
Ooh.
Or, to give him his full moniker, Orlando Jonathan Blanchard Copeland Bloom.
Was he named after the city, given that this is our Orlando podcast?
Don't think so. He was supposedly named after the composer Orlando Gibbons.
Ooh.
Now,
yes.
What was Orlando, the city, named after? Because that could also be Orlando Gibbons.
Something Shakespearean, perhaps?
I've no idea.
Okay, if you know the answer, please mail us, markdavidpod@gmail.com, or contact us via social media at markdavidpod. You can also make some very nice comments on our growing library of videos on YouTube, Mark and David's Travels.
If you've enjoyed our podcast, or even if you haven't, follow us. It's important.
Now, he doesn't mean it literally, because we're not giving away our addresses or our places of work, but follow us virtually.
Yes.
It would be wonderful. Click the like, click the follow, click the share, tell all your friends about it, because this is a truly unique podcast.
Yes, and the more follows we get,
the more people will take us to more interesting places so we can provide further entertainment for you. Because that's why we do it, listener. It's all about you.
Sacrifice.
Talking of sacrifice, on the ship,
yes,
there was Elton John that kept going up and down in the lift and turning up in different places. Because Sacrifice is a song by Elton John.
Oh, it is, isn't
and
it?
he played it on the piano once.
Did he?
So every so often a lift door would open and Elton John, Pound Shop Elton John, would be there.
He was
on a
excellent.
piano.
Elevator Man. Isn't that another song by
isn't
Elton
that Billy
John?
Joel?
Oh, yeah. He played that quite a bit as well. Should we finish off with singing Piano Man?
Not really.
Bye.
Bye-bye.